Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Chân Kong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, homage to Master Dubten Dorji, homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher. Namo, the emanation body of Sakyamuni Buddha. And Namo Uchisuma, the divine Buddha King, with great authority. Semu, Tanchen Katso, Tutan Siddhi, all Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma lecturers, Dhamma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples over the internet. How do you do?
Aishiteru. Sharange. Hola amigo. Que quiero mucho. Sugoi. Ichiwa. Kimochi. Yumi. Yapi. Pudding pudding. Konnichiwa.
I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 9th, afternoon at 3 p.m. there would be Golden Mother Homa fire offering ceremony. I have told everyone before, without Golden Mother, there will not be Grandmaster Lu. Without Golden Mother, there will not be Grandmaster Lu. And without Golden Mother, there will not be True Buddha School. Without Golden Mother, nothing will be here. Nothing would have been here. True Buddha School, Leizang temples, the temples, the chapters, the spiritual centers, disciples from all over the world won't be here today. Where would I have been? Where would I be? I was a survey engineer. Then I would have retired. I would have been a lonely old man. Very simple. So Golden Mother is the true founder of True Buddha School.
不是创始人，是
play of word in
开
Chinese.
创的神仙。
Actually, it's the founder sage, not founder person.
等于弄西了，创始人。要吃金母很伟
The
大。
founder sage,
所以
Golden
呢，
Mother,
你们要不要主起
is
呢？
truly tremendous. So, if whether you want to become primary supplicants,
要
no,
随便你们。
yes, it's up to you.
要吃金母最伟大。
Golden Mother is the greatest.
今天我们做这个会集金刚。
Today we perform Uchisuma.
以前呢，师尊不
Before
会集金刚，
Grandmaster did not
以前
know
就是五大金刚嘛。这个密集金
there
刚、
were 5 the great Vajras or Herukas, Guyasamaya,
德金刚。
Chakrasamvara, Yamantaka, Hevajra, and the last one in Tibetan Tantrayana,
那个有的用十人金刚，
some say Kalachakra, some say Mahotara Heruka.
这是藏密的五大金刚。
These are the 5 great Herukas of Tibetan Tantrayana.
那我看会集金刚不太清楚。
And I'm not sure about Uchisuma.
最早的时候，我以为
And
密集金刚
I thought he was Guyasamaya, but actually
法指示。
they were different. They are
会集
different.
金刚是会集金刚，
Uchisuma is
密
Uchisuma,
集金刚是
and
密集。
Guyasamaya is Guyasamaya. They are different.
那么这一尊呢，
And this deity in Japanese Tantrayana
日本的密宗，中密、东密、
Chinese Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana,
藏密，当然也有。
it's very popular in Chinese and Japanese
这
Tantrayana,
一尊
and of course in Tibetan Tantrayana too.
已经讲过很多次。
The origin of Uchisuma I have talked about many times
他
before.
是这个释迦牟尼佛
He's
的时候，
when Sakyamuni Buddha was about to enter
的
Parinirvana,
时候呢，几乎所有诸天
all the heavens, devas, heavenly
菩萨、
gods,
金刚
and many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and all the Deva Devis
也都来
all
见释迦牟尼佛。
came to see Sakyamuni
他
Buddha.
要涅槃的时候，有一
He was about to enter Parinirvana, but there was
诸天吧，
Conchigan Deva,
要
a heavenly
要进入涅槃。
being,
那么罗辑天
and Sakyamuni Buddha was about to leave the Saha world, about to enter Parinirvana, and yet this Conchigan Deva was still
奏现
enjoying himself in heaven.
邀请他来，进
So, and many
来见释迦牟尼。
many immortals were trying to invite
每个
him
剧有气
to come to son of Sakyamuni Buddha, but they never came back.
另外有一些这个有一些仙人
And there were also some sages, not
有一些
the
仙人
Venerable Victor. Some sages also went to invite this
但是呢
Conchigan Deva,
也是一样有气无回，
but all the same they went but never came back.
因为啊这个罗辑天王在他的这个他的
Because
里面做了很多
The Conchigan Deva used lots of
他们
filthy
就去了
dungs as his protection. So every one of them that went was warded off by the filth. So Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher, the emanation Buddha, body of Sakyamuni Buddha, and from his right heart chakra, he transformed a deity, Uchisuma, the divine Buddha king with great authority. Only he has the means and method to eradicate all the filths and protection. So he's also referred as the Vajra of filth is able to eradicate all kinds of filths. So eventually the Chigon Deva could stop his pleasure and come and meet Sakyamuni Buddha. So that's the story about how Uchisuma came about. He's not afraid of any filth. He's surrounded. His whole body is fire. He has a very full and robust, young and strong energy, and he has tremendous merits. So, like poisons, like the viruses, they're all filths. Bacteria, germs, virus, they're all filths. And this deity can take care of them. So we really hope that so that we can return to peace on earth, so that we can live normally again. He has many names. Uchisuma, Firehead Vajra, Indestructible Vajra, Vajra of impurities, Tactile Vajra. Those are his Vajra names. And his Mudra. I think his Mudra it's the most difficult one. This is the Mudra. It's very difficult to form. And his mantra, the short one. Om Chilu Donan Hom Ru. I transmuted Uchisuma Dharma at the Madison Garden in New York, organized by the Vajra Diamond Temple of New York City. At that time, while I conducted the ceremony, I did not know that Madison Garden is the most expensive venue on earth. It's very expensive to rent that venue for the ceremony. It's very famous in the world, right? So we conducted the ceremony at the medicine garden. His mantra, mudra, and his look. 3 faces, 8 arms, 9 eyes, and the body is black, blue, green, and the red standing up here. Each arm is wrapped by a dragon for a total of 8 dragon kings. And the right hand forms the open the mountain mudra, and the left hand forms the grand summon mudra. And the Dharma implements are Vajra bell, Vajra scepter, a wheel, halberd, lasso, and a sword. And the left leg is stepping on top of a mountain, and his right leg raises up like he's soaring up in the air. And his whole body radiates bright fire radiance, and he looks very wrathful. That's his appearance. So with mudra, his appearance and his mantra, they would comprise the requirements for a tantric dharma practice.
I
remember a joke. I think I told the joke last week about tiger and a cat. After I got home, nobody wants to become a tiger. If I say that the woman is a tiger, she gets angry. How can you say I'm a tiger? And today, someone asked a lady, "Are you a tiger?" And she said, "No, my husband is a tiger." So he asked her again, "So what are you then?" And she said, "I am Wusong. Wusong is the one that beats the tiger, beats and wins over the tiger." There's a legend in China called the water marsh legends, something like that. So it's very difficult to get along with or to deal with. She said it herself that she's a lion. So she's Shimu. So lion is different from tiger. Lion is the king of animals of the forest. If you tell your wife that you're going to Africa to beat the tigers, then that's a lie. Because in Africa, they only have lions, no tigers. Where are tigers? In China, India? Not in Africa. And there are only lions in Africa. So Simu said she's a female lion. Whoa.
真的是泰山压顶啊！
that it's like I'm being oppressed by the huge mountain. And this man cannot move. It's a joke. Cannot move. Someone was fired by his company. And the cause that yesterday the boss sent line text to the group. Meeting at 10. Bring your eating machine to the meeting room. And this person went to the room. And everybody brought their tablets. But he was bringing his bowl and chopsticks. It's funny. The boss said, bring your eating stuff. And he brought bowls and chopsticks, but in a company, it's the computer. Now we'll do the question and answer. From Taiwan, Lian Hua Xu.
虚呢，它这个虚字是一个永远的永，旁边有一个日，一个永，一个日。
And this is how you write it.
奇怪，怎么有这个法号3个字？
How come there's a Dharma name like that?
莲花，你没有的话也是叫莲花一稀呀。
Even if you don't have it, there would be 莲花一稀. How come there's no 莲花稀?
一般来讲是2个。
For us, like for the Dharma teachers, the 2 letters, and disciples 4 letters. How come? The whiskers of lotus or what? How come there's missing 1 character here? Homage Master. By chanting Buddha's name, Amitabha Buddha, for one's whole life, at the moment of death, one will be guided by Amitabha to be reborn at Sukhavati. But if one chants the names of many Buddhas in the sutras spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, will one be guided to the purance of each of the Buddhas? Or should one be focused on chanting Amitabha's name to go to Sukhavati first? Then one can come and go between all the other Pure Lands. So what do you think?
他是如果持佛说称扬诸佛功德经中的各
If one chants the names of many Buddhas in the sutra as spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, or just chant one deity, Amitabha Buddha. That's what he or she asked. Is it better to chant one Buddha or many Buddhas? And each of the Buddhas would come and guide him to all the Pure Lands. No wonder your name is 莲花须。
有很多的毛嘛，须有很多毛，真的是毛。
Because you have so many hair.
你真的是有够毛。
You're so hairy.
好了，我讲我自己的就好。
Okay, let me talk about myself.
平时任何一个时候
For me, at any time, I always chant Namo Amitabha.
也有时候
Sometimes, if I'm happy, I would sing it, or I chant it, always Amitabha Buddha.
南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。这是念佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛。阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛。这也是念佛。我们见到
That's also chanting Buddha's name. When we greet each other, we also say Amitabha.
平时师尊也念佛，每天。
So normally, Grandmaster chants the Buddha's name. Every day I chant Amitabha Buddha.
说称扬诸佛功德经的各尊佛名，我也会念。
If I see the names of many Buddhas in the sutra spoken by the Buddha and praising the merits of all Buddhas, then I would chant them. Like also inside the Siddhigarbha Sutra and many other sutras like Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra too. There are so many Buddha's names. I would chant them too. But the most important one, I would chant Amitabha Buddha. Why? Because Sakyamuni Buddha only the Buddha spoke on the Amitabha Sutra. The Amitabha Sutra as spoken by the Buddha, and also the deliverance treaties or the infinite light sutra as spoken by the Buddha. So in the Pure Land there are 3 sutras and 1 treatise. They all tell us to chant Amitabha Buddha. That's for the Pure Land school. So for us, it's the same. There's equality between Mahayana and Tantrayana. At the beginning, the master also studied Pure Land school. The 4 Jiao. I also chant Buddha's name until now, non-stop. But if I see the chapter on praising the Buddha's names, I would chant. And then all the names and epithets inside the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra, I would chant too. But the most important one, I am chanting Amitabha Buddha. Because once you go to Amitabha's Pure Land, you can go to other Pure Lands. Because it's written in the Amitabha Sutra. In a very short period of time, you can bring the pure offerings to travel around all the pure lands, to make offerings to all the Buddhas. So I personally think that chanting the Buddha's name or Amitabha Buddha's epithet is number one. Whenever you have time, then you can chant the names of other Buddhas, like the sutra spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas. You can, of course, chant them, but we focus on chanting Amitabha Buddha, because Amitabha Buddha is Grandmaster's yidam, or main deity, and Padma-kumara is an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. So personally, for myself, I chant Amitabha Buddha every day. But if when I encounter names of other Buddhas, of course I would chant them too. So it's not that I only chant Amitabha Buddha exclusively and not other Buddhas, but Amitabha Buddha is my focus. And I would chant the other Buddhas depending on the affinity. That's what I mean. For Lian Hua Xu from Taiwan, you can be single-minded and focus on chanting Amitabha, and the names of many Buddhas in the sutras spoken by Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, of course you can chant them too, if you have time, because there are so many Buddhas. Just the Buddha names in the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra is already quite many. And there are also many other Buddha names in the praising the Buddha's name. So that's my answer to Lian Hua. Beard, or Lian Hua Xu from Taiwan. And then next from Singapore, Lian Hua Wei Cheng. Homage to Grandmaster. According to Lamdre and Grandmaster's many teachings, samadhi and meditation require a good mastery of chi channels and light drops. But for those who are still practicing the outer practices of four preliminary root guru yoga or yidam practice, is it difficult for them to achieve samadhi or to gain spiritual union with the yidam? Or does the samadhi of the outer practices and the samadhi in the inner practices have different standard? And the second question, before attaining great bliss of the second and third level empowerments, is it true that one can only use precepts to suppress one's desires? Are there any other methods about desire? These are very good questions. There are many methods to enter samadhi. What is samadhi? It's single-mindedness, concentration, focus. There are many yogas. yoga of Kagyupa, there's a yoga of concentration, yoga of renunciation.
这个再来呢，一味瑜伽
and yoga of one
最
taste,
后是
and lastly,
瑜伽。
yoga of no practice.
这4种瑜伽都离不开。
Four kinds of yoga cannot be apart from single-mindedness. It's deeper and deeper. So yoga of concentration, yoga of renunciation, yoga of one taste, and lastly, yoga of no practice.
那现在呢，你禅定入三昧地，必须要修好七脉明点。这刚开始的本尊法相
So
是不用。
in the beginning, for the Yidam yoga,
你就可以入三昧地。
before practicing the inner tantra, you can enter samadhi. That's the yoga of concentration.
专一瑜伽呢，有很多方法。
There are many methods for the yoga of concentration, many visualizations, you all
有
know.
一个观法叫做数，
One of them is by counting your breaths.
数自己的呼吸。
You count your own
我们
breathing.
以前呢，看武侠小说，
In the past, when we read the Kung Fu
一
novels,
个人要精神集中的时候，
it's written that when one has to concentrate,
眼
the eyes observing the tip of the nose and the nose is observing the heart.
这个就是要专一。
That's for single-mindedness or concentration.
你要学轻功，武侠小说里面
If you want to
麻
learn
木感禅，
about light-bodiness,
草上飞，草上
like
飞，
in the Kung Fu novel,
要
like
提起，
it steps to chase
提
the
起，你要
cricket.
气要提起来，
You have to lift up your energy in order to levitate and to
挥人手臂才会
fly and walk lightly
轻功。你
at the light
做
body
武功
Kung Fu.
都要提起，
Doesn't matter what kind of martial arts you do, you have to lift up your qi.
做什么？
What is lifting up the
就是
qi?
精神统一，就是专一。
That's concentration or single-mindedness.
做什么事
In your studies or whatever you do, you have to
的
focus.
话，一定会出差。
If you don't focus, then you would make mistake.
所以专一瑜伽是第一种，专一。
So the first one is the yoga of concentration, of
在
focus.
专一瑜伽里面还没有修气脉明点，
So in the yoga of concentration, before practicing qi channels and light drops,
你心
you
里
can
只
do it
数着这个呼吸
like counting your breaths, that you never
一言
apart from your breathing.
师尊书里面写过一言禅定，点一根香，
And
把
one
自己的房间弄
pointed
暗
meditation,
前面
you
点一
lit
根
a
香
stick of incense
看着那一点，
and keep your room dark,
离不开
and
那
your
一点
eyes keep looking at the dot of light.
那个
There's
香
a
上面
drop
的那
of
个
light
红色的那
at
个
the
光
tip of
两个
the
眼睛
incense,
是那个就是一言
and
禅
your
定。
two eyes are gazing at that dot.
倒不一定完全靠气脉明点，
So entering samadhi
等你
does not rely only on light drop channels
更
and qi
用气脉
practices.
明点去
But once you reach those practices, then you can utilize them to enter
这个
samadhi.
数息的观法，
The visualization of counting the
数息
breath,
也是气呀。
that's also about the qi.
你修释迦行的时候，上师相应法，
When you do the four preliminary Guru Yoga or Yidam practices,
不是很难入三昧地。
it's not the case that it is difficult to enter samadhi.
一言禅
If you know how to count your breaths
这两个基本
or
还有
one-pointedness, These two basic ones and many others,
都可以入三
many other ways to visualize. You can still enter samadhi and gain spiritual union with the Yidam.
关于这个禅定入三昧地，以2观以上的程度有所不同吗？我告诉你。
So the samadhi of the outer practices and the one in the inner practices, are they different? In Mahayana Buddhism, they don't practice chi, light drops and channels.
对气脉明点。
Not only that, they oppose it.
有些显教的法师他说。
There's some Mahayana Buddhist masters that especially instructed their followers not to practice light drops, chi and channels. Because they're very complicated, like Lamdre. And Mahayana Buddhism is rather straightforward. They don't practice chi, light drops and channels. Of course, if you use the chi channels and light drops to enter samadhi, of course, because you use different method, there would be different standard or different level. That's the answer to Lianhua Weichen from Singapore. And before attaining great bliss of the second and third level empowerments, is it true that one can only use precepts to suppress one's desire, or are there any other methods? Of course, the precept is to stop evils and to do goods. Precepts is the method to avoid evils and do goods. Sakyamuni Buddha at that time, in the beginning of the Sangha, there were no precepts. And because spiritual cultivators started to preach to create problems, to preach the ethics and virtues, and because they violated them, so the Buddha started to set the rules, which are the precepts. Because in the beginning, there were no precepts in the Sangha. But because of the bhiksu, bhikshuni, upasaka, upasika started to violate some rules, so Sakyamuni Buddha set up the rules one by one. That's why now we have so many precepts. In the very beginning, the first precepts were not to kill, to steal, to lie, to adulterate, and to intoxicate. The most basic of many precepts, because these 5 precepts were all bad. And afterwards, many precepts were established. So, any other method than suppressing one's desire? The Buddha used the precepts. After he established the precepts, he asked us never to breach the precepts, that you still have to abide by the precepts. Actually, there are many other methods. You don't have to use precepts to suppress your desire, but you still have to abide by the precepts. Sometimes Grandmaster really wants to scold on someone.
尤其骂人真的很舒服。
Especially, it's really satisfying to curse.
都骂人的。
And in English, there are many curses like shit on you.
Shit on you， 就是骂人啊。尤其那个我们念咒哦，阿弥陀佛shit。
Especially when we chant the mantra,
阿弥陀佛shit。
we would make it Om Amitewa Shin.
这个老外他们讲到不爽，什么事情不爽就是。
America, when they're upset, they would always say shit. There's so many curses.
但是不可以。
It makes you feel good cursing, but no, that's not allowed.
佛教我们只能够讲温柔语或什么样。
Buddhists should speak gently and kindly, and
要守这个戒律的。
and we have to abide by the precepts.
有其他的方法。
There are other
像
methods.
那个师母讲了一句话。
Like Simu once said,
我举个例子。
as an example, because Simu is not here, so I use her.
师母不是不在，她在看。
Simu is not
但是我讲了。
here, but it's not that she's not here, she's watching. But it's truthful what I'm saying.
那
Simu said,
听起来很不中听。
and Grandmaster really didn't like what she said.
实在心里很不舒服。
I really felt
有时候我
upset by it.
他心里也很不舒服。
And the same way, sometimes
快的。
when I say something, she also felt upset, and immediately she would revert.
比较重的话，师母听了心里不爽。
Would revenge. She would react very fast if she doesn't like what I say about her. And for me, like when I don't like what I hear, I wanted to react, but I did not because she was a lion.
我怎么办呢？
And then what should I do?
把念头
So
到别的地方去。
I put my mind on something else.
压制自己这一句，想要
Then you can suppress what you wanted to say,
也可以压制。
what
我想，我讲
the coarse words that I wanted to say.
引起他的更不高兴。
If I say it, she would be even unhappier, and then I would suffer even more. So what use is there?
唯一的方法，
So the only way
讲下去，
to stop her continue as a man
就这样子了。
to maintain his dignity, I would walk faster and abandon that area of conflicts.
所以在言语之间哦，你说
So that's also a
这
method
个以前做夫妻
in communication, in words. It's unavoidable for a couple to fight or argue.
师尊从来是不打架，
And Grandmaster never gets into any fights. I never beat anybody in all my life, not even my children.
佛经佛起
I have never beaten
都
my
不会打他。
children. Fuchi,
小
never.
时候被打，
Because I was beaten up when I was little. I grew up in
家
an
庭长大，
abusive family.
我知道被
I was beaten
所以我从
so much, and I knew how much it made me suffer. So I never beat
甚
anybody.
至我也不骂，
And I don't even scold anybody.
骂跟打不在我身上，我有
It never happens on me.
从读幼稚园一直到大学，
From
没有跟人家打过
kindergarten
架，
to
从来没有打过架。
university, I never get in any fights.
你是在抗议吗？
Are you
只有一次，你抗议的对。
are you protesting? Well, your protest was right. Only
佛
one time.
经佛旗在后面，
I was meditating,
在那边
and
叫
Fo
啊
Qi
叫
and
啊
Fo Qi were very noisy behind
推
me,
了他们一下，大概就是
and I just kind of
定的时候，
I was meditating, and they were
旁边叫啊笑啊这样，我就推了
shouting
用手推了，
around me, so I used my hands to push them out a little bit, and they always remember
推了
that
他们一下，
all their
记
lives,
得住，
and that was the only time, and they still remember them.
真的
Remember it.
没有打过他们，没有骂。
I never beat them nor scold them.
那关于其他的欲望，就是用戒律，
And about other desires,
其他的方
you
法，
use the precepts to suppress them,
你欲
and
望
many
升起
other
来，
methods too.
用清凉气想，
When your desire is
爬
aroused,
山
then you think of cool things. You
去看水，
climb
去
the
看河
mountains, you look at the water and flowing river, the calming things,
去看那个湖 lake
and you go to the lake.
的好处。Seattle have so many the tree, so many the lake and the mountain. You can go outside, take a walk, see the tree, flower, beautiful flower. 这个漫步、绕塔都是
You can stroll,
绕庙。
you can circumambulate the pagoda or the temple,
去看佛像的庄严，
and look at the beautiful images of the Buddhas,
看山，
and go outdoors
降低你的
in the mountains and near waters to
看山，
decrease your desire,
去看树，看花，
and
把这个
look at the trees and the
圣
flowers,
贤书，
and to look at the
这个
books by the sages,
这个给你点上心灯，
or you can also watch
看
at
这
the
个
programs like from 给你点上心灯,
得的有上层的这种节目，给你点
or
上心灯，
programs that are
或者是
uh,
看书，
positive and educating, and or you read books
就欲望
like
就
the
小。
clear, cool mind of the moment to decrease or to eradicate your desire.
我经常用我的广告词，每年is 深渊路 I born in Taiwan, but now in Seattle. Now in Washington State, I have the two temple. One temple in Raymond, one temple in North Bend, one temple in the North Bend, a Seattle temple in Raymond City. Every Saturday night, 8 o'clock, have the ceremony, and teach the Buddhas in North Spain is Rumpo Lezang Temple. After every Sunday, after 3 o'clock, have the fire offering and me teach the Buddhas. 就是这样子吧，这是宣传吧。也跟你们宣传。
So that's
用戒律来自我压制，当然还有其他的。
To tell you about some
你去参加
advertising, publicity.
法会，参加法会。
Other methods like you can attend ceremonies or group practices or listen to the Dharma teachings. Then you would naturally know many other methods. And this is from Canada by Lianhua Liao Wu. The respectful Grandmaster, Living Buddha Liansu Amitabha. On December 13, 2015, during the White Lotus King Grand Ceremony in Hong Kong, I heard the sound from the sky. Then an image of Sakyamuni Buddha appeared vividly right in front of me. And from then on, anytime I chant Guru Mantra in front of my altar at home, as soon as I close my eyes, I can see from top to bottom Mahatara Heruka's Tanka, Golden Mother, Living Buddha Lien Sheng, and the Earth God, radiating light, and there's blue light in the Tanka. Recently, when I chant Ishichoga mantra, her Dharma throne exudes bright light. Grandmaster, is this sign of spiritual union? I'm not after transcendent power. Please explain. Lianhua Liao Wu from Canada. During the White Lotus King Grand Ceremony in Hong Kong, she heard a sound shwa from the sky, and the image of Sakyamuni Buddha appeared vividly right in front of her. And from then on, anytime she chants the Guru Mantra in front of her altar, as soon as she closes her eyes, she could see Mahatara Heruka, Tanka, Golden Mother, Living Buddha Lien Sheng, and the Earth God radiating light. And there was blue light in the Tanka. And recently, when I chant Ishichoga mantra, her Dharma throne exudes bright light. These are all spiritual responses. These are spiritual experiences, spiritual responses, and some sighting or vision. So this Lianhua Liao Wu from Canada should have strong spiritual root. There are 3 kinds or 3 levels of disciples. One with high quality of spiritual root, medium, and low. So those with high spiritual root, then they would gain spiritual responses very fast. They have strong spiritual roots. They have cultivated spiritually in their past lives. So by attending ceremony, they were able to see Sakyamuni Buddha. And afterwards, she is able to see the light of all deities. And by chanting Ishichoga mantra, Ishichoga's Dharma throne exudes bright light. These are all spiritual responses, signs of responses. So he or she is a disciple with high spiritual root. And the medium spiritual root just goes step by step. So the first kind is the sudden enlightenment or sudden Dharma practices. immediately they gain spiritual response. And the medium spiritual root would go step by step. And then the lower spiritual root, then they're like turtles crawling. Other people have been flying, but they're still crawling. That's for the low spiritual root. However, they will eventually reach the destination too. The first one is the fastest, and then medium, and then slower. Fast, middle, and slow. And you are one with high spiritual root. That's wonderful. Lian Hua Liao Wu from Canada. So this experiences of spiritual response and spiritual union. It's good that you don't care about transcendent power, because sometimes some people have some transcendent power and they get off the deviant path, get on the deviant path. Many people only see lights after practicing a long time, but not for this person. Immediately they're able to. Now let's expound on Lamdre. Also, the one visualizing one's yidam vividly and immovable amidst bliss and emptiness is called the Samaya Heruka. The one to invoke and merge with the wisdom sattva is called the other wisdom Heruka. The one appearing from the yidam's image and their wisdom state is called the Heruka, who is able to show appearance by merely drawing up a fake name. One is able to give rise to emptiness and bliss is called fake name Heruka. In the meaning of all phenomena, one is giving rise to emptiness and bliss is called meaningful wisdom Heruka. For a total of 21 of them. 11 kinds of Herukas. And each one of them has its own meaning. So, visualizing the yidams vividly and immovable amidst bliss and emptiness. Whether it's bliss or emptiness, you are unmoved, and you can see the yidam very clearly. And they are called the Samaya Heruka. It's a name. And there are a total of 11 Heruka names. The one to invoke and merge with the wisdom sattva. You enter into Vajrasattva or wisdom sattva. It's called the other wisdom Heruka. The one appearing from the yidam image and their wisdom state is called the Heruka, who is able to show appearance. All the state of wisdom appears. And by merely drawing up a fake name, one is able to give rise to emptiness and bliss. So just by drawing a fake name to emptiness and bliss is called fake name Heruka. And in the meaning of all phenomena, one can give rise to emptiness and bliss is called meaningful wisdom Heruka. So emptiness is bliss and bliss is emptiness. Therefore, the four blisses are also four emptiness. So when they're transformed, they become emptiness. Why? Is there any bliss that you can hold on? The initial bliss, the superior bliss, the most supreme bliss, innate bliss. Once they're transformed, they become four emptiness, four kinds of emptiness. So which kind of bliss can you grasp? So you're very happy now, so show it to me. Nothing can show it. Nothing can show you happiness. Someone shows joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. But those are just expressions, just expressions. They're just expression of the emotions. So, the meaning that came up from emptiness and bliss, or when you enter into the wisdom sattva, that's called the other wisdom heruka. They explain the names of the herukas, and there are a total of 11 of them. Yesterday, we have talked about several, and together with this, there are 11. Thus, the meaning of being blessed and abiding on one's own body to enjoy bliss is referred as the honorable. In sum, there are 24 empowerments of the honorable true nature. There are so many kinds of empowerments. The empowerments of the 5 wisdom, of the 5 mudras, and the heruka empowerments. In total, 24 kinds of empowerments of the honorable true nature. Also, the yogi endowed with the following spiritual experiences, such as the hands are moving and forming mudras, he receives the empowerment of the mudra true nature. With the legs stepping to form an altar, he receives the empowerment of altar true nature. When speaking secret mantra, he receives the empowerment of mantra true nature. And the mind is forming thoughts to form contemplation, he receives the empowerment of contemplation true nature. If one has the above 4 true nature spiritual experiences and realizations, then for the wisdom, one receives the wisdom empowerments. In sum, these empowerments are the cause of the main interest of the 11 and 12 grounds, and they're combined and understood here. The cause of the main interest of the 11 and 12 grounds of bodhisattvahood. So, the mudra true nature and the legs stepping to form an altar, that's the altar true nature. And speaking secret mantra, mantra true nature. And the mind forming thoughts, contemplation, true nature. So anyone have this 4 true nature, they are bodhisattvahood of the 10th ground. And in Tantrayana, the 11 and 12 are not considered Buddhas, but Bodhisattvas. But in Mahayana, they're considered Buddhas. They're all mudras. This is mudras. Slapping mudra. Slapping you, that's also mudra. But don't learn them, okay? Anything is mudras. Number one, that's also mudras.
I love you.
I love you. The mudra for I love you. This is you. This is why. I. This is
you.
And then I.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. We 嘛，这个是 we 啊。
We.
L 是 L。
L. Love. I love you.
这是手印啊。
This is also mudra.
这个手印呢
And how about this?
Yapi 是什么意思？
Yapi, what does it mean?
你们都不懂啊。
You don't know?
这是女生装可爱嘛。
This is girls pretending to be cute.
女生装可爱。
Girls love to do that.
对不对？这个不灵不灵。
Bling bling.
是高兴嘛。
This is happy.
高兴嘛。什么都是手印，其实
Everything is a mudra. So once you know about mudras,
佛菩萨教的
the mudras that Grandmaster knows are taught by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are slightly different from most people's.
金刚萨埵教的
Like how I play the Vajrabell and scepter, I was taught by Vajrasattva. They include purifications, enrichments, magnetization, and subjugation. This is magnetization.
这是怀嘛，
Magnetization.
降伏嘛，
This is subjugation.
降伏嘛，这是息灾嘛，
This is purification.
这是息灾嘛，
Purification.
这是增益嘛，
This is enrichment.
这是增益嘛。啊，聊一遍，息灾、
Purifications.
增益、
Enrichment.
降伏、
Subjugation.
敬爱，
Magnetization.
这都是手印嘛。
These are all mudras.
这个是什么？结界。
And this is boundary protection and also enrichment.
所以手印接成手印，手如何转动？
So when the hands are moving and forming mudras, one receives the empowerment of mudra true nature.
真实性。我以前也是。
I was taught by Vajrasattva.
我到最后
So that's mudra true nature. I also learn
到最后
steps, like at the Seattle Temple.
边踩来踩去
Last
加持大家的时候，
Before I give blessings to everybody, my legs would be stepping here and there to form an altar. That's the altar true nature.
那几步啊是坛城的知识。
So those steps
而且是
I have learned, I was taught
晚上来台
by the intangible.
练习走那个走步的时候是
They lift up my legs
真实
at
性。
night.
火焰
So that's altar true nature. When speaking secret mantra, that's the empowerment of the mantra true nature.
我们把南无念多林所哈，唵。 哈哈哈，为什么耶说哈？我们这一尊体说哈，我们这把它唱唱来说。我马哄别在咕噜贝嘛是地红色，我马哄咕噜贝后萨萨玛哈连身是地红，底下他嗡贝卡吉亚贝卡吉亚，马哈贝卡吉亚拉扎萨姆卡德耶说哈，卡德说哈，哦，这个都是咒的真实性。再来静力真实性。
Those are the mudra true nature, the mantra true nature, and then contemplation true nature. That's samadhi, entering samadhi. So once you have these 4 true natures, then you have gone the 11th or 12th ground. That if you can enter samadhi, you have reached the 11th and 12th ground. And also you have to have this 4 true nature. A kid told his mom, why am I the second generation of poverty and not of the wealthy? And the mom replied, I never told you before. You're not the second generation of poverty. And the kid was very happy. Really? There's a secret I didn't know. And the mom said, from your great-grandpa to you, it's already 18 generations. In 18 generations of poverty. But let me tell you, we are not poor. Why? We have merits. We are very fortunate because we can learn the true, authentic Dharma. So we are most fortunate.
非常感谢法王圣尊莲生活佛。